Well, hello. It's June 21st, 2024. I am Michele Tittler, and this is Gerry Gagnon, my political partner from End Race-Based Law here in Canada. And we are doing a series of episodes to explain what race laws are about in Canada and what end race-based law is all about in Canada. This particular episode, I think we're at 3, is called Trudeau and Gosnell, and it's one of the top feature stories that you'll find consistently at endracebasedlaw.com. We've had them up there since pretty much day one because they are the foundation, as you're going to explain. Hit it, Gerry.
Okay. In our last podcast, we dealt with the 1969 White Paper on Aboriginal Affairs. And we at End Race-Based Law did a paraphrase of the paper, and it is, of course, published as one of the feature stories. An extension of that, now that was 1969. For the next 13 years, conferences went on between Aboriginal leadership and the Prime Minister, Aboriginal leadership and the premiers, etc. There were at least 4 that I recall, expensive conferences for everyone that reached no conclusions. And the latest, the final ones of those were 1982, 1983, when we got our new constitutional changes. Now, at one of them in Vancouver, Chief Gosnell, James Gosnell, who was the Niska chief and the nominal head of the Aboriginal Chiefs of Canada, and Prime Minister Trudeau got into one of several exchanges, one of which we captured as a post because we think it highlights the issue to this very day. And we're now talking, over 40 years later since the constitutional changes in 1982. And I'd like to just read to you the exchange, one of the exchanges between Chief Gosnell and the Prime Minister. Chief Gosnell: "It has always been our belief, Mr. Chairman, that when God created this whole world, he gave pieces of land to all races of people throughout this world. The Chinese people, Germans, and you name them, including Indians. So at one time, our land was this whole continent, right from the tip of South America to the North Pole. It has always been our belief that God gave us the land. And we say that no one can take our title away except he who gave it to us to begin with." To which Prime Minister Trudeau responded, "Going back to the Creator doesn't really help very much. So he gave you title, but did he draw on the land where your mountains stopped and somebody else's began? God never said that the frontier of France runs along the Rhine River. I don't know any part of the world where history isn't constantly rewritten by migrations and immigrants and fights between countries changing frontiers. And I don't think you can expect North America or the whole of the Western Hemisphere to settle things differently than they have been settled anywhere else, hopefully peacefully here. So this year we came up with a proposal. It's a policy paper on the Indian problem. It proposes a set of solutions. It doesn't impose them on anybody. It proposes them, not only to the Indians, but to all Canadians, not only to their federal representatives, but to the provincial representatives too. And it says we're at a crossroads. Yes, a crossroads we're still at 40 years later. We can go on treating the Indians as having a special status. We can go on adding bricks of discrimination around the ghetto in which they live, and at the same time, perhaps, helping them preserve certain cultural traits and certain ancestral rights. Or we can say, you're at a crossroad. The time is now to decide whether the Indians will be a race apart in Canada or whether it will be Canadians of full status. We will recognize forms of contract that have been made with the Indian people by the Crown, and we will try to bring justice in that area. And this will mean that perhaps the treaties shouldn't go on forever. It is inconceivable, I think, that in a given society, one section of the society have a treaty with another section of the society. We must all be equal under the laws, and we must not sign treaties among ourselves. And many of these treaties indeed would have less and less significance in the future anyhow. But things that in the past were covered by the treaties, things like so much twine or so much gunpowder, and which haven't been paid, this must be paid. But I don't think we should encourage the Indians to feel that their treaties should last forever in Canada. They should become Canadians as all other Canadians. And if they are prosperous and wealthy, they will be treated like prosperous and wealthy, and they will be paying taxes for other Canadians who are not so prosperous and so wealthy, whether they be Indians or English Canadians or French or Maritimers. This is the only basis on which I see our society can develop as equals. But Aboriginal rights, this really means saying, we were here before you. You came and took the land from us. We want you to preserve our Aboriginal rights and to restore them to us. And our answer, it may not be the one which is accepted, but it will be up to all you people to make your minds up and to choose for or against it. Our answer is no. Now, unfortunately, when the 1982 constitutional discussions were ended, although through the entire process, Prime Minister Trudeau and the premiers had opposed the addition of any Aboriginal rights in the new Constitution 1982. At the last minute, behind the scenes, not in a public discussion, Section 35, which not only puts Aboriginal rights and treaties in the Constitution for the first time, but extends those rights indefinitely into the future.
And it's very ambiguously stated. It's called inherent rights. So that allows for court case after court case and lawyer after lawyer and native after native to interpret what inherent rights means, which this same Gosnell guy said at one point. This is when I stood up and started endrace-based law. This is what began endrace-based law, was Gosnell. He did this. He got me going. I heard him on the news say, we own it all. We own the land, we own the trees, we own the water, we own the air, bugs, we own the air you breathe. And I was like, what? He owns the air I breathe? What? Because I'm not some race, he owns the air I breathe. That was like the most racist thing I'd ever heard in my entire life. I'm not even sure Hitler said that. And that was it. I phoned Gerry, who was living in Victoria, and I was like, what's going on? And we had a quick conversation, and then we started endrace-based law.
And so I think the most disappointing aspect of this is of course, Prime Minister Trudeau's ultimate abandonment of these well-stated principles. It's not as if he didn't know any better.
But in the end, it was the United Nations that pushed these race laws into our Constitution because they had an agenda, they had an end game, which we're seeing now, and that's to destroy Canada's sovereignty because they want no nationalism anywhere around the world. They want to destroy all the countries, and they're using the natives to do that. And the natives think the United Nations are their friends, and that the white people and the government here are their enemies. It's bizarre. It's absolutely bizarre.
So when we use Prime Minister Elliott Trudeau's words, it's because I'm forced to admit he captured as well as anyone ever has the proper attitude to take towards this, the progressive, modern attitude to take towards this. And whether for political expediency or under pressure or for whatever reasons he abandoned that, the fact remains. And we're not Pierre Elliott Trudeau boosters here. But these words remain as true as the day they were spoken.
Well, he was intelligent.
They are undeniably what's necessary in the modern world to have a modern democratic nation. And the fact that we are moving in the opposite direction and have been for literally decades now is why this problem only gets worse and worse. Anyone see any solutions that are arising? Anyone see that things are better now between Aboriginals and the rest of Canadians?
It's so much worse. And the racist things that they say to us are the most racist things I've ever seen in my entire life, ever heard. I didn't even know racism to this. I'm telling you, everybody out there in the world, you do not know real racism until you've heard the natives because they took over their own education system. And so what they've taught them is, like, they've taught people who have alcohol problems, that feel alcohol problems and drug problems and just issues on the reserve. They've taught them that white man is the enemy and that the white man raped them. And so we have 13-year-old people, kids who come online and say, you raped me. And I'm like, I don't even know you. But this is what the United Nations has pumped into them. So these race laws and Gosnell, they're all really important parts of what's led us 40 years later to what is now pretty much the destruction of Canada.
Well, certainly the balkanization of a province like British Columbia. Anyway, we hope
Good job.
you will also check out the posts themselves. There are links to the original documents on all of our posts. Everything we try to source, the original articles, the original government documents, the historical documents.
Gerry's research is impeccable.
So I would also point out, I guess I might as well right now, is when you see our posts, the bulk of the posts are other people's writings. We're not just trying to convince people of our opinion, we're trying to share as widely as we can. Now, if you look at one of our posts, the text is in black. The comments from myself or Michele are in red. And for people who just can't handle long posts, because many of these, because they're as thorough as possible, are longer posts, we have highlighted in blue the most important or significant points we believe are in the,
You're so
are
sweet
in the
to
article.
say he does all that.
And so you can scan the article if you want to just quickly reference it. And again, and please let us know if any of the links have become inactive over time, because this happens on the internet. It's why we copy and paste and
check out our merch on endracebasedlaw.com and endracebasedlaw.ca. And Gerry does all the research. I can't take credit for any of them. He's our research guy. I'm basically he's the brains, I'm the brawn.
Well, you're the producer and designer
I'm
too.
a producer and designer of all
this
these.
is her work.
And you know, if there's a fight to be had, I'm in. But Gerry's our scholarly guide to learning this subject. And that's why we're doing these videos, because we want to put it out there so Canadians forever have this information and can learn from it, because we don't know anything about this. Gerry is teaching us. He's teaching me. And there's a lot of stuff, let me just say, that we decided to do this on purpose. There's so many posts that he's done that I haven't even seen yet. So we even thought that we'd have a lot of fun just with me reacting to so stay tuned. There's going to be a lot more. And he's going to be traveling, but wherever he is, we're going to try to do Fridays and put up videos every Friday. So it's a big subject, lots to talk about.
Lots to talk about.
But we're going to talk about the main ones first. So tune in. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, and race-based law. We love you, Canada. We're trying to help.
Good luck to us all.
Yeah, good luck to us all. This is really important. Natives, we want you to come along with us. Like, this isn't end natives. This is end race-based law, and don't give the lobbyists and the lawyers and the United Nations the chance to use you anymore. Come along with us. Come on. All right. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.